Hey everybody, this is the Purr Play Sip Podcast. I am Chuck Patton, and this is Sushi. I'm super excited to come to you guys today for several different occasions. Number one is Sushi is getting adopted as we speak, which I'm so excited about. And number two is we just did adoption number 7,000 at Perfect Day Cafe. That is 7,000 in just over a year. So I really kind of felt like I could kind of reflect from the heart here on what kind of journey this really is, because it truly is amazing. It's numbers that are unprecedented. And so, as the proprietor here, I want to humbly brag a little bit about our community and what it has taken to get to this point. So just to kind of backtrack a little this, I'll talk to you a little bit about the numbers. We started in August of 2018, August of 2018, with this goal to do 300 adoptions. And the way that we came up with that number is that was the number one location was doing about 300 adoptions. And we partnered with the Kentucky Humane Society. We set this lofty goal. And of course, we did 10 the first day, 11 the next day, 13 the next. And we thought, well, you know what? It's going through that initial phase. We were packed. The community was supporting it so well. And here we are 4 years later at adoption number 7,000. So if you guys are out there on YouTube land and you're kind of thinking through how in the heck did that even, 300 is quite a stretch from the numbers that we actually did. So just to tell you, we ended up the year 2018 with about 800 adoptions. 2019 was 1,338. 2020 was 1,852. Yes, I am saying COVID, and we were closed for several months during that time. And then 2021 was 1,710. And here we are at 2022 with 3 months left. We're at 1,300 adoptions. So, these are really, really big numbers, and they're actually the most in the country. I'm saying that very informally. Not only do the shelters not necessarily have a massively structured system, but neither do cat cafes. So I'm a member of a couple of different Facebook pages, and they all kind of itemize it out. And we're really proud of these numbers, but I kind of wanted to explain to you a little bit about this journey, about the business journey that we have here. It's an important one, and I think those of you who are out there in business land or want to kind of learn a little bit about what Cat Cafe is about, this can be an amazing thing for you. But for me, I'll come to the end of this. It's kind of a sense of pride. And because I believe that businesses can do amazing things. And, but anyway, I'll get into that a little bit, and I'll kind of throw out a little bit of gossip to you. So when we started this, there was quite a bit of criticism here and there because we had another competitor, if you will, which I don't look at it that way, right? I mean, we're all on the same mission. But it was kind of a competitor. How are we doing up there, Sushi? Yes, you're going home. And they started to criticize because we are a business and we're not a nonprofit. But I really felt passionate about the fact that we needed to be a business in order to truly make a difference and get to the numbers that we wanted to get or get to the goals that we wanted to get. So we set KPIs for the company, and they were kitty performance indicators. So just kind of doing a play with that. And those three things are the number of adoptions, the amount of shelter impact that we could have, and then the community involvement. How many people are actually coming here to the Perfect Day Cafe? Because we know going into it that if we can get a lot of people coming into the cat cafe, then about 30 to 40% of those people are saying, you know what, I've just fallen in love with this cat, or I could use another kitty, or I don't have anyone in my life, so I'd like to get this cat. That's part of what it is that we do. We're trying to get a ton of people involved. So we set these KPIs, and the other part of it is because I knew as a business person that I was going to get criticism, and even had some media come in and say some things. And this was really about the fact that I wanted to make sure I told them, hey guys, look, doing good for your community is doing good business. And that's what we're here to do. And we're not going to, back out of this. And our numbers just prove it. I mean, they are like significantly higher than a lot of other shelters and even cat cafes that are out there. So we wanted to set that goal, and I wanted to make sure that if anybody came to criticism, I'd say, hey, look, it's working, right? I mean, we've done so far over $87,000 in adoptions in 4 years between both of our locations, and we've done 7,000 adoptions, actually going 705, 706 right here. So it's going so quickly that I can barely even cut a video on us. We also wanted to, one of the reasons why it was important for us to go by the numbers is because we wanted to set the bar high. Like, how high could this actually go? How many adoptions could we do? And then, let's just go from there. Let's build another model, maybe do it again someplace else. But we knew we needed that bar set really, really high. The other part of it is I knew that in this, somebody introduced me to a term called compassion fatigue. And I knew that that could be something that we get to. It's emotionally driven. People take this job because it's emotional. People follow us. The media come in and follow, all because of how cute everything is and how much of a great impact it's making. But I also knew that we needed to make sure that we thought clearly and that our business strategy and our cat strategy and our cat care and everything, it needed to be by the number. So I wanted to make sure that we had something very, very clear. Here it is, guys. This is how many adoptions we do. Because, there's some times when, yes, kitties get sick. Yes, they may not go home to a perfect person, and then they bring the kitty back, which is okay. But at the end of the day, we're finding homes for a lot of animals. And that was super important because when I started this, I saw literally hundreds of cats in cages waiting for something. And we'd like to think that something was us. So, the other one is, again, to kind of summarize that up, I wanted to make sure that we were a business with a purpose. And we were not the purpose that happened to use business. That's where my heart was. If you guys know anything about me, I owned an ad agency for a while. I sold that business trying to figure out what I was going to do. I ran into this concept and I said, you know what, this is the selfish part of this for me is being able to leave a legacy here, right? And I didn't necessarily growing up, where a cat saved me, out of a pond or something like that. To me, I think sometimes opportunity is about keeping your eyes open or keeping your ears open and figuring out, what is out there, where are the needs, what signs are out there, whether or not you say it's the greater good or, just fate, whatever it is. I just felt as if when I saw this, I knew my creativity, I knew my, the ability to kind of get this thing started and take the risk. I knew that could work. So for me, selfishly, it has been about selling the fact that businesses can be amazing. You've got a lot of what they call social enterprise models now. This wasn't a model 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's basically businesses that are in the purpose of doing good. I read a book, a gentleman's name is Blake. He's from Tom's Shoes, ironically. And buy a pair of shoes, give a pair of shoes away. And it was really motivating for me to be able to say, wait a minute, we need to be able to keep it simple. We need to be able to make that happen. And I really felt like a for-profit business would allow us to cash flow and being able to do more with it. So, but if we're doing 7,000, I wanted to celebrate and I want to make sure that we get those numbers in there. And it would not be appropriate if I didn't take the time as well to thank some people and to tell you a little bit about why those people are so necessary. First and foremost, it's the Kentucky Humane Society. If we are doing 7,000 adoption, they've got to come from somewhere. So these cats come from about 52 different counties in southern Indiana as well as Kentucky. Somebody has to go out there and go get them. They have to drive. They have to go transport them. They have to vet them. They have to make sure that they've had all their shots. They're healthy, like Sushi is. She's just sitting over there grooming right now. And somebody has to do that, and that is them. If it weren't for an organization like that was willing for us to push them and to go out there and get animals in need, it would not happen. The reality is if you're in Jefferson County, which is Louisville, Kentucky, if you're watching this, there's resources. If you're out in Anderson County, if you're out in all these other it's just not there. And they need help. and that's what the Kentucky Humane Society does. Wouldn't be able to happen without them. The next one is the media. Believe it or not, like, they were amazing. They came in here. I was literally chased down the road at one point. Somebody said, "Oh, wait a minute, are you opening this up and up? Or you open it up?" But they have been great about that. I always call ourselves the greatest B-roll in the world because you just film kittens all day and it's a lot of fun. But without them getting that message out, it would not have worked. Volunteers and fosters with KHS. There is a slew of people willing to give their hearts, give their times, give their homes to animals in order to foster them, and then be here at the cafe, volunteer at the cafe downstairs in our cat room. Those guys are amazing. One thing that I would not be remiss if I didn't talk about Robert and Rosemary, Rosemary Cundiff Brown, Robert Mason, and the amazing people that work here that have made this a job with a purpose. It's a job of love. It is hard. We do a ton of cleaning here. We do a ton of smiling. We do a ton of hello. And it's very rewarding. I don't want to say that, but these guys have put their hearts into this and they make it a purpose. And that's what's been amazing. And then finally, it's the community. So if you all didn't support this, if you didn't come in, we're getting tourists from all across the world now. But especially, in the United States coming in, we've adopted out to 22 different states. If it weren't for people saying, you know what, we're going to give this a shot. We're going to go do that. Or, I'm not here to adopt, but you know what, we're going to help it out. I'm sure if we have an entry fee and they pay it and that goes towards their bills somehow, let's go support it. And that is what has been and made it amazing. And that's what it made it amazing here in Louisville, and then also our second location in Covington. One of the biggest things that a lot of people ask me, okay, 7,000 adoptions, what's next? Like, what are you going to do? And I don't know that. And I don't know that in my life right now, I'm ready to say, okay, here's the 5-year plan. Here's a 3-year plan. And all you business people that are out there, I know you're saying, well, but wait a minute, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make sure you do that. I'll rebut that by saying no one planned this far ahead in COVID. It was really hard to do. So we got lots of thoughts on where that could go, but I think it's important to kind of note now that we're at adoption number 1,665 in Covington. Hi, we good up there, Sush? You're about to go home. And then the other thing that I think is a really big deal is when you add those two together, I got notes 8,660, 1,340 adoptions away from 10,000. So I believe that if you can get to that 10,000 point, that's just such a big deal, and we're going to do some real fun things here. But could you imagine, you started, I wasn't a shelter person. I was an animal lover, but I never thought for a second that, a team would be so amazing to be able to put this together and make sure that we had that many adoptions. So what comes next then? We got some announcements to make. They probably won't be until the 1st of next year. We got some creative ideas. I call it thinking outside of the litter box. And we're hoping that the community out there are going to support it. We hope that people hear about this from across the country. Lots of different things, lots of shelter impact. You know what's amazing thing that I've always thought to myself? I said, you know what? I can do this. I can make it. I can make this an amazing venture and make it some great impact. But I also could make it to where I am out of a job if we do well enough. And that's okay. If that's what it ends up being, we end up finding all these homes for cats, and we'll just keep on reinventing ourselves in what it is that we do. But those announcements will come the 1st of next year, and it'll be super creative and out of the litter box, and hopefully you all will support it. I'm looking for ideas. I'm always open to even the criticisms. I'll argue back, and we may respectfully disagree on how to go about doing all this. But the numbers speak for themselves. And I want to make sure that you guys post in the comments here. Let me know. I mean, if you guys have ideas, if you have locations that you've thought of. That scares me a little bit because I opened up that location in Northern Kentucky, right outside of Cincinnati on 25 West 8th Street. I opened that up in COVID, and it was just a nightmare. That's probably a whole nother podcast from here. But we want your ideas. We want to know what it is that we're doing, some of the content that you want to see in here. Is it about me? Is it about or my journey, I should say? Is it about the cafe? Is it about cat cafes in general or cats? Let us know. Make sure you follow and make sure you share. Let people know all about this. I'm going to try to become a little bit more frequent on this. We're going to build up to something great this upcoming year.